Today we're going to look at copying data, specifically a shallow copy versus a deep copy of data. So let's get started. Copying some types of data is very, very simple. For example, things like primitives, integers, floats, characters, those types of things. They're very simple to copy, and what happens is we actually make a complete duplicate copy from one element to another. Let's take a quick look at that and how we know we're making this duplicate value of a copy. So I'm going to come over here to this simple Python script. I have x equals 5. I have y equals x. And if I print x and y, and I run this, you're going to notice down here that it prints 5 and 5. Okay? So it seems to be duplicated. But I can go one step further. And for example, I'm going to change x to be equal to 3. Now when I print x and y, do you expect y to be equal to 5 or to 3? Well, because this was a primitive data type, my x and y values were duplicated, and if I change x, y stays the same. That's because it was that duplicate value. So any changes to x doesn't affect y. Any changes to y doesn't affect x. They're completely independent of one another. This is often referred to as a deep copy. Now, this is the most simplest form because it is simply a primitive data type. But let's take an example of something you're used to using in Python, a list. And let's see what happens when we copy that. So I have a script over here, and I have a list. I set up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then list 2 is equal to list 1. If I print both of these, you'll notice that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it prints list 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. However, what happens if I change a value in list 1? So let's just change list 1, element 2, to be equal to 10. Now I'm going to print my toList again, and when I run it down on my terminal, you'll notice that I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I see it twice, and then I see 1, 2, 10, 4, 5. That second element has been immediately replaced in both lists. That's because it made what's known as a shallow copy. And a shallow copy just points to that memory location. And anytime we have a complex data type, most languages are going to do a shallow data type. And just because we're used to using them and they're built into the language doesn't mean it's not considered complex. So a list is actually a class, and it has built-in methods and all that type of stuff, and so it's considered to be a complex data type. Now, there's a couple reasons why we would make a shallow copy. Number one, it's very fast. And I have a list here that's only got 5 elements, but I could have had 50 elements or 50,000 elements. And if I made a duplicate, I'd have to go through and duplicate every individual element inside of that list. Now, 50,000 elements would go even pretty quick if I was using integers. But what happens if I had a complex class? And then I'd have to go in and create a new class with all those values and put it in. And if one of those values was also an object that was therefore a class, and it could be a custom class or it could be another list or something like that, I have to go and create a brand new one for that. So this would wind up being very time consuming. It's a reason why we don't do this for complex data types. Now, interestingly enough, Python does have a very simple workaround, at least for a list. So I want to show that to you real quick, and I'm going to go up all the way to my second line of code, because we need to do this during the copy. And that is, if I merge 2 lists together, it has to form a duplicate value. And it's going to therefore make a deep copy. Now, all I have to do is combine 2 separate lists together. I never said that the second list has to have any values in it. So this is kind of a little bit of a cheat, But if I go in and I say list2 equals list1 plus an empty list, it's going to now do a deep copy, merging one list with the other, and it's going to give me my values. Now, if I go and I run this, you'll notice that my first two printouts are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My third list printout, after I've modified the element in list 1, is now printing showing that change, but list 2 is still the same. And that's because it made a deep copy. So this is a very simple and easy way to do something like this in Python. Now, you might think, well, why would I be doing this? This isn't really common. Well, it's a lot more common than you think when you realize that you have to duplicate data every time you make a function call. So let's switch out of Python for a second and let's show you in Java. Over here, for example, I have set up a static void main, just as a real simple Java example. And I have x equals 5, y equals x. And if I run this real quick, you'll notice that both print out 5. However, let me show you where we wind up possibly changing a value. What's going to change is what I call my sample function. Here I pass in a value. And this parameter is an integer value. And I'm going to change that value on line 11. Well, is that going to change my value up on line 3 or line 4? Because that's essentially what I'm doing, is I'm having to duplicate the value when it gets passed to my function. Well, let's take a quick look and explain what's happening. So I'm going to specify sample function. I'm going to pass in x. And I'm going to go ahead and print out x again. Now, if I run this a second time, you're going to notice that all three printouts, my x, my y, which was equal to x, and my x again, after I call my sample function, are all showing 5. So what happened with that value of 3? Well, because this was a primitive data type, what happened was it was copied by value, or a deep copy. And because it was copied by value, that exact value happened, there was a complete duplicate. And so we have two completely separate values here. And this one is independent of this one. And so I can make changes and changes and changes over here, and it never once affects this value here. And by default, this is default, all primitive data types, when they get passed in through a function, are passed by value. That's because passing by value is very simple, and it's not likely to have a problem or a change that's going to occur in my calling function because I made a mistake in making a change inside the function that I got called. So it's designed to be very fast because it's primitive data, and it's designed to be safe because we can't have those changes going back and forth. What happens if I pass by reference? Here, once again, is an array in Java. And arrays are very much like lists. And because arrays can be very large, we pass them by reference. So I have here my main function. Inside of it, I create an array of only 5 elements. It's not very big. I print out my array. I'm then going to call modify array and then print array again. So let's write our modify array real quick. I'm just going to specify values. And once again, I'm going to change the second index. And I'm going to say it's going to equal 99. I'm going to run this function. You notice that here I print out 0 through 40 for my 5 elements inside my array. I then call modify array, and you'll notice that my index 2, or my third element inside of my array, is now equal to 99. And because it's passed by reference, my original array got changed inside my function because it's literally the exact same array. Passing by reference is just saying, hey, here's the memory location where this element's at. Now, in some languages like C++, we can kind of stop that. It's not that the array doesn't get passed by reference, but we can use a keyword like const, and that's going to create a constant inside that function, so we can't make any changes to those values. Likewise, inside of C++, I can pass things by reference implicitly. And I can, by forcing it to pass by reference, I can even make something like a primitive data type have to be passed by reference, and therefore any changes in my primitive data type will be found also in the calling function, not just the function that we called. But C++ and C is a little bit weird like that. Most languages like Java or Python don't implicitly, at least easily, let us do that. And therefore, we have to know, how's the language working? And this is a thing that's almost always going to happen. If we want to prevent something like this from happening, we either have to duplicate our values ourselves, making a deep copy, so it's two completely separate data types. Or we have to learn to work around it and knowing what's going to happen if we don't. So that's kind of the difference between a deep copy, or passing by value if you're passing it to a function, versus a shallow copy, or passing by reference if you're passing it to a function, and why you're going to see those two different types of copies so often in your programming. And it's not that one's necessarily better than the other. It's knowing about what's the right thing to do at the right time based upon your needs in your application.